serious, man. You cannot be serious.
There we are. We don't have Maxine Nightingale with the music, but because we're just on light rations up here in the middle of, where are we? Cobalt. Now, Duck, you might think, I got a few questions and I want a few opinions. Now, you might think surely there's other things to worry about beside this. I watched the State of Origin game, New South Wales and Queensland. The first thing I noticed, surely they make enough money without having the subliminal advertising emblems on the field. They had a car company, Telstra, they had a fast food company, and they had the NRL logo. And every time the players ran into over the advertising, subliminally digitized, subliminal advertising onto the ground, you couldn't see where the ball was, where the players were. In the close-up shots, they didn't have them, but they kept projecting 4 different advertising emblems onto the ground. It was just, honestly, if you can't play a game without actually cashing in on every part of the advertising, you couldn't see the ground with the long shots. That was my only take out of the game.
It was. By the way, it's a bit of a fizzer, the game. Being a Wagga boy, as you know, I'm a New South Welshman. Thought that they would get the job done. It was a shocker. But things like that, Sam, I don't even really take notice. I get annoyed when they go to an ad break, and like for instance in the AFL Channel 7, every time a goal's kicked, they go to an ad break, and
they don't do that on Fox.
Yeah.
But Duck, if you were watching someone run from the Telstra sign across some nice grass and then into the Kentucky Fried Chicken sign, you couldn't see who had the ball, where the ball was. It was absolutely annoying and puerile.
It's quite funny that you think about a lot of these major teams, especially in the NRL, not so much the AFL, but you have these alcohol brands. I reckon the last alcohol brand that sponsored an AFL team, I reckon it was Melbourne. Was it Melbourne? Do you reckon it was Tooheys? I reckon that's. I remember Tooheys.
Well, don't worry about that. The Australian Open, they have that Chinese strong liquor company. All those numbers written up the back. That's just advertising alcohol.
The lemon lime. That's a lemony drink. They also do,
or something.
Yeah, they. You know, you got the 196s. You got the solo. You got the solo lemon limes. Now they're everywhere. So you're a bit. By the way, you've just come over a little bit like there's a fog in front of you.
Yeah, there is, Sue.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that I've gone grey. Looks like I'm dying.
You've gone foggy.
What's happened to me? Maybe my light's gone off. What's
happened? I've got to say, they call the light's coming in. There you go. That's what it is. You've got to put that down. Because you look, like I said, you look like that's better. You look like Patrick Swayze off Ghost.
How's that?
I thought you might have just gone, you were just floating off into the...
The sun's come up.
Hey?
The sun's just come up.
Yeah, you look...
now, Doug,
much better.
That's the first thing. Now, the commentators, very nice people, all of them on the AFL, they got to get up with the rules. So I'm watching... there was a bloke in a game, ruckman, standing on the same side of the circle as his opponent. And the umpire went to bounce the ball and he said, no, he said, your free kick because you're on the wrong side of the line. And they said, I thought they're just starting to take notice of me, saying can't come across. And they said, they don't usually pay that.
A bit better. Yeah, keep going. Carter's just woken up. Keep going.
Has he?
Yes.
And they said, they don't usually pay that.
Yes, keep going.
Well done, Doug.
Yes.
Ask Carter about this. They don't usually pay that when they come across the line. What you can't do is stand on the same side of the circle before the bloke bounces the ball. So they didn't know the rule there. And also, my contention is that you shouldn't come across the line until you jump for the ball. But no one jumps for the ball, like no one actually jumps for a boundary throw. And now they just lock arms. We're not allowed to do that nowadays. I know we shouldn't speak about our day, but our day was much better. So that's that. Just if any of these you're taking any notice of besides kissing Carter, just let us know.
I hope that.
So I'm watching one of the games. I don't know which it was, and the commentator said,
No, but do you want me to give? Do you want me to give comment on the ruck thing? So
"Well, I
Simon,
didn't want to interrupt you there with your
no,
family
you're right. So
affairs."
Simon Goodwin was on one of the shows last night, which I saw this morning when I got up, and he commented on it. Like they negate what's happened, Sam, is these smaller ruckmen that don't have a leap, they're just negating trying to negate the better ruckman. They come across, like you said, it's all wrestling. All the ruckmen, there's one player, and it's Harley Reid from West Coast. Every other player that's given away the most free kicks, guess who they all are? They're all ruckmen. They give away free kicks to one another because they're just standing there wrestling. And just to follow up a little bit more, I went to a country game on the weekend. I went and watched some country footy, and guess what they do? They run and jump like ruckman did in your day.
That's because that's that whole. I keep going on about the bigger circle and the line. That's what it was there for, to stop all that wrestling.
Yep.
No, and
I'm
if
with you.
they could get the game, the AFL, if they could get the game right rather than all the other peripheral bullshit they carry on with, everyone would be more happy, including me.
Yep. No, Sam, I agree.
So
agree.
then-
And I think the coaches agree too.
Well, so then, Duck, I watched, I don't know which game it was, but it might have been Carlton. They've frigged round with the ball that often, that much in the back line. And then one of the commentators said, "Isn't it extraordinary? You've got two tall forwards down in the front half of the ground and they won't kick. Wouldn't you think they'd kick the ball down to the tall forwards immediately rather than chipping the ball around the back line?" I thought, hallelujah. How long have we been saying this? Have a one-out contest and get someone at the fall of the pack.
I agree. One of the things, you know, if I agree, I agree. If I don't, I don't. But one of the things I will say is we have had a lack of really good young forwards for a very long time, and all of a sudden, we have got a group, and I'm talking about young Cadman. Hogan won the Common last year. Young Cadman, Darcy, Phil Thorpe from Adelaide.
Yes.
All of a sudden, we have this young group of really good key forwards. And doesn't that will change, Sam? Hopefully, that changes what you are just talking about. Yes. Hopefully, because when a team has these dynamic good forwards,
why waste them?
Well, correct. And then you throw in some other players that are still around, and obviously Jesse Hogan's still very capable. Jake Stringer. Hogan. You look at GWS, by the way, who are the sleeping giant.
No pun intended.
Yes, but you've got Stringer kick 4 on the weekend against the Cats. You've got Cadman and you've got Hogan. All of a sudden, 3-pronged attack. If GWS, their whole plan now should be to just get the ball, move it quickly, run off half back and get it into those key forwards quickly. And that's what they did against the Cats, and they beat them.
So you mentioned last week, I think you said, coaching's a pretty tough gig and all that sort of stuff.
Come on. And I'm just sending Carter up to bed with Mum.
What did I just say then?
Good boy. Yep.
What did I just say then?
Oh, well, I just had to do a little bit of parenting in between. Come on. Good boy.
Why don't you do this from your bed?
Well,
and you could have Jess.
Well,
there.
I've got children down in the basement. I've got children there, and I've got Jess with the baby upstairs. So it's.
I'll speak quickly. We'll finish.
No. Carter's gone up to jump into bed.
You said coaching is a tough gig. How hard would it be for a coach to suddenly realise they've got some key forwards? Why don't we kick the ball down to them reasonably quickly instead of chipping it round the back line?
Well, you've got to have them, and now more teams. More teams have them. More teams.
Geelong have one.
Like I said, Geelong have got two. They've got two big key forwards. You've got GWS have got them. You've got certainly the Bulldogs have got them. North Melbourne have only got the one. Larky, he was out on the weekend. But I agree, Sam. If you've got them, you've got to. You know what they've got to do? isolate them. That's what
And
you've
this
got to
is why
do.
the standard of the game of play has declined appreciably. Players are very skillful, but they never get any chance to show their skill because the game has turned into a rolling pack of nonsense. No one's game to. Anyhow, so now I want to ask you this, Duck. I don't
Yes.
know if you watched the Wimbledon women's final.
Oh, that was a shocker.
Well, beside all that, the young lass Anisimova from the United States played Swiatek from Poland, and she couldn't win a game in the final of Wimbledon. What I wanted her to do is, Anisimova, is when she was interviewed after the game, is say something like, I am so sorry. What happened is I choked. I honestly got so nervous I couldn't go for. Explain to the crowd rather than speaking about a mother and all her support staff. I would like of her to actually come clean and say, because not a lot of people have played in a Wimbledon final, and I'd like her to say what went wrong if she beat the number one seed the week before, day before. Well, I would love her to have just spoken about how demeaning it was and how she choked and just fall on a sword a bit. The crowd's
Choking's a strong word. You're never going to get an athlete straight after they've lost a final to say they choked. In saying that, in the interview that she did afterwards, you would hope. I know what you mean. I know what you mean when you say that. Because as an ex-athlete yourself, we like to understand the psychology, how this happens to
spot on.
one's person, and to get that explanation from them and say, look, to be honest, I did just freeze. I didn't have a great night's sleep. I was that nervous. The final.
Absolutely, Duck.
Yeah, that's the sort of information we want. I don't think you're going to get that in the interview straight after, but
Well,
certainly
that would be exactly the time to do it after people are gobsmacked.
Yeah, in the aftermath, but it ended up being a real flop. I've got to admit though, I tuned into that because I was, because I had something on and I got home and it was on, but
So that'd be 3:30 in the morning, Duck.
yeah, no. I woke up. I had the TV on. I woke up
Just
and
getting home.
it was on. No, I wasn't. I wasn't.
You just
Especially
said
after,
getting home.
especially after the event of the night before.
Yeah.
So I or the day before. But the men's final, I didn't get to see any of that. Obviously, Sinner won it, and then now you have all everyone coming out saying that he shouldn't even be playing anyway, et cetera, et cetera. What's your take on Sinner? And then the people thinking, because he's had these little indiscretions in and around some banned substances, but not to a level, not to a high level, but he's still tested positive. So some people are saying that shouldn't even be there. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, so this is like being a little bit pregnant. If you take steroids and build yourself up, what is the difference between taking I think a tablet that makes you lose weight, or I see Shane Warne was banned for a year because he took unbeknownst, it took a tablet that was meant to lose weight for him. It didn't affect him. It didn't affect him at all. He still became the great hero that he should be. But you can understand if it's out of his system, and did it make him? What did the thing that Sinner took? Did it make it?
I don't know. I don't think. Yeah,
Says it was banned.
I'm not sure.
If it's
I'm
banned,
not sure.
it's banned. Says
if it's banned, and Sue, yes, being a professional athlete herself, I agree with that. In saying that, the point that you're trying to make, I think, Sam, was if it's an absolute steroid to make you stronger, faster, fitter over having too much caffeine or something of that nature, of which you can test positive for as well, and that's considered performance enhancing, but it's not an anabolic steroid. So there are differences, and I dare say that those differences do come into account when you're getting penalised. But it just seems his penalties have been on the lighter side in comparison to other athletes around the world.
I said that about Maradona when he died. Just as a throwaway line on this podcast, I said he was a cheat, and people said, "Oh, I said he wasn't a cheat because he took drugs. He's a cheat because he touched the ball at the hand of God and it went through. He should have owned up and said I touched the ball."
No, I wouldn't have thought so, Sam. If are you in cricket? In cricket, would you be one of those blokes that you're in and you've got a little bit of bat on it, but before the technology came in, which when you would have been playing cricket, you wouldn't have walked.
I wouldn't have if I was Maradona. It was a throwaway line and people
Yeah, I
took
know.
it seriously. I
Of
tell you what
course,
I would do in cricket.
you know
If I got
Maradona.
if I got a catch, if I
The
got a
greatest
catch
soccer
on the
player of all time.
who?
Maradona is in the argument as the greatest soccer
Yeah.
player of all time.
Yeah, I think Ronaldo would top him.
Yeah, well, so
Anyhow, they're both great. If I was playing cricket, Duck, though, to your question, and I caught a ball on the half volley, and the bloke said I caught it, I would actually say I didn't catch it.
no, that's true. But when you catch, and I'm sure you've done this before, and we've all done it, even in when you're playing cricket with your mates. Sometimes when you catch that ball simultaneously with the ground, and you think that you've caught it, and at times, and we see that in professional cricket, when you catch that ball like that, you absolutely think that you've caught it. But when you slow it all down, you can see that part of the ball has touched the ground. So, sometimes people think it's cheating, but sometimes you honestly believe you have caught it.
But the greatest self-discipline in any contact sport, any competitive sport, is golf. You can cheat. You could cheat on a hole by hole basis in golf if you wanted to, and
Because you're
no one
only
ever
cheating
does.
yourself.
What's
Because in golf,
Yes,
you're only cheating yourself.
that is true. But some people don't have a conscience about that.
It's
They
like
try.
when I go around, Sam, and I must admit, because I'm not a great golfer, we should play actually when your foot's right. I'm not the greatest golfer, but I am known to have a preferred lie. Uh,
I know
they know.
because you're not taking it. That's fair enough because you're not being serious about it. It's just a bit of a social outing. But if you're playing for money, someone they'd wrap a club around your head.
No, true, and a little Nike wedge,
That's
here
right,
and
a
there
little,
doesn't hurt.
little foot wedge.
Yes, doesn't hurt.
Uh, Now, I'm not a great cricket devotee, but I watched
Oh,
Australia beat the West Indies. They got them out for 27.
yep. And
Twenty-seven.
did you see Mitchell Stark's spell of 15 balls?
Yeah, you got 6 for 9. He got.
Did you see the 5 wickets? 15 balls, Sam.
I watched.
It
I
is
don't know
the
why I
it
was
is
watching it. I was watching
it
it.
is the best spell of bowling in the history of fast bowling.
It's
Probably
extraordinary.
it was unbelievable. I mean, the ball he had it. He had the ball talking. It was incredible.
And only for a misfield, they would have. New Zealand, I think, had the lowest score ever made in a test for 26. But someone they misfielded one, and
Yeah.
that's why they're the second lowest. But Mitchell Starc, on his 100th test, took his 400th wicket. How many wickets did the great Shane Warne take? Do you reckon?
I know how many he took. I think it was just over 700, wasn't it?
It was 708. How long will Mitchell have to play to? Anyhow, they're both great.
Well, that's true. You would argue that being a fast bowler,
Yeah, you would.
he's probably not going to have
No,
the
he'll
length of
burn
time.
out, burn out a
Yes,
lot quicker. Doug.
yeah. I
Now,
would have
what
thought.
do you think? Now, I'll tell you the two best.
How many tests did Warney play to get that 700? By the way, do you know?
Yes, I do. I
'Cause
wrote it.
that's the second most in Test cricket. Full stop. I think Murali's got the most.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, yeah. So two spinners are at the
And
top.
he had a controversial action,
He
didn't he?
did. He did.
He's not
But
through it.
but Murali the most. Warney was second, and then I think then from there, I think then you've got the fast bowlers that come in under that.
And now, Duck, I don't know if you've ever heard. I've told you this before. I'm telling you this again. Marc Marquez, who rides MotoGP for Ducati, he is the best sports person in the world at the minute. He is extraordinary. You don't think it's a sport?
Yeah, I didn't say it's not a sport. Of course, it's a sport. We've had this argument before, but I don't think he's the best athlete in the world.
Who is?
I think he's got the best. Clearly, he's got the best bike at the minute.
No, he had a Honda Repsol last year, and he's
Is he up
changed.
there?
And he's, hey,
Look. He's clearly up there, and I know you follow it, but I
not
just
clearly up there.
I just when you're on or in something that determines how good you are, I just don't compare that to other sports like you do.
Dark.
And that's fair enough. That's your opinion. It's
He
mine.
won 7 world champions riding a Honda Repsol, and this year he's riding a Ducati, and he's unbeaten.
It's just like when Tiger Woods was dominating in golf, right? When they call and golfers, it's one of the hardest sports in the world to play, and I admire them and everything. I just can't come at them being great athletes.
What a motorbike rider who rides around at 300.
I didn't say but he's guided by the bike he's on. And golfers who walk around a course are not athletes like NBA basketballers or NFL players or AFL players or rugby league players or the list goes on, or track athletes or swimmers, Phelps is an athlete. I don't consider golfers to be necessary. They don't have to be a great athlete to be a great golfer, is what I'm saying.
And what's your definition of an athlete?
No, I'm not saying they're not athletes.
No, I'm just asking you.
I just find it hard. My
having
definition of an athlete is someone that's athletic.
I would say an athlete is someone who has to have some.
Who's an athlete? Who's an athlete? You're an athlete.
So I would say in order to be classed as a athlete, you'd have to have some aerobic content applied to your sport.
Yes,
There'd have to be some.
So is a golfer an athlete then?
Content.
Is a golfer an athlete then? If you
No,
say that?
I'm taking your point.
What about ping pong? What about ping pong? Table tennis.
Some aerobic athlete associated with that. It's more a recreation. That's where you get into. Is
what about marbles?
Bowling of sport.
Marbles.
Marbles.
Like you wouldn't say. Like I admire. You know what? I admire the lawn. I admire bowls. I've got mates that play bowls. It's becoming a younger person's game. They love it. I ran into a heap of people not long ago that were on a trip to the Gold Coast, and they were all up there. There was thousands of people up there for a big tournament, and it's a great game. But bowlers aren't athletes.
Well, good on you. Well, all right. Well, so you love this?
They're sports. They're a sports person. You just say they're a champion sports person, but they're not a champion athlete sports person. Is that
I'll
maybe
tell you a champion sports person taking the world by storm, and that's a bloke called Shane van Gisbergen. Do you heard of him?
No.
He's right driving NASCARs. He came from the V8 series in Melbourne, in Australia. He's a New Zealander, and he is absolutely head and shoulders above him over on the road circuits, not the oval circuits. And I get. So
are we claiming him? Are we claiming him? Because
I'm claiming him absolutely.
No, as an Aussie, because he's a good Kiwi.
Absolutely, he's an Aussie.
Yeah. But you said he's a Kiwi.
New Zealand, but
you said he's a Kiwi.
Out on the V8 series here, and I get more excitement out of watching him beat the Yanks at their own sport. It's fantastic.
You are one of those people. I want to just highlight this now that you've said that. So you're one of those people that if we have someone born in New Zealand and then they come to Australia and they do well, we claim him. If he came over here and he was putrid, you would say he's a Kiwi.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, we get people over here who immigrate to the country. They've been here a year and a half, and you've got a name you can't pronounce, and they say, "Little Aussie," and you can't even pronounce their name. We claim them immediately. Don't you worry. Like,
I think we claimed Farlap, didn't we?
Yeah, my word. Gout, we've claimed him. Well, he was born here.
Gout was born here, Sam. But we claimed Farlap, and I think Farlap was definitely born in New Zealand, but we claimed Farlap.
Absolutely. Now I'll tell you this. Speaking of Gout, Here's a very welcome change to the itinerary for the 2028 Olympics. They are going to put the swimming on last, and
Oh,
the opening of the Olympics will be the athletic events. That how sensible is that to have the
I
most prestigious events first and the swimming last, which is a prestigious event, but bookend them and then have all the nonsense in between.
you know what? I love that. So where are they?
In Los Angeles,
Oh, yeah, that won't go ahead in Los Angeles the way they're going.
and is it in Los Angeles? And have a guess who decided they'd do that?
Trump.
How good is that man? He is.
Yeah, as
Don't
long as they got the country in order. How are they going to have an Olympics in LA when recently it nearly burnt to the ground. It's had the riots in recent
yeah,
times. I mean, they've got a bit to correct it. They've got a bit to correct. And 2028, so that would be the end of Trump's
that'll
presidency.
be his legacy. Trump Trump is absolutely braining them. They are rioting. They are they are defacing. They're graffitiing.
So
There's
how are they going to have an Olympics?
because they are, he is. Wouldn't you believe to
Who's
have
going to go
Trump
to
in charge
Who's
of
going to go to
Australia or
LA?
Victoria?
Who's going to go to LA to watch an Olympics when they could get hit over the head with a bottle or
A
you
duck.
know,
Don't worry about that.
or
They will have
get shot by a plastic bullet because you're in the
They
wrong
will
place?
have the armed. They will have the armed forces in there. They will actually. That'll be fantastic. He is the greatest thing that's ever happened to that
So
country.
Trump.
And the
So
more
you're
they
telling me.
riot,
So you're telling me Trump sat around in this this busy time, and you reckon he said, "Oh, by the way, I just think that the 2028 Olympics in LA, I think, what I think they should put the athletics on first and the swimming on last." Do you think he came up with that? Do you?
no, I don't, Duck. But I'm
Yes,
just saying
thank you.
it's the only thing he hasn't come up with. I tell you what, he's just signed a trade deal with Indonesia, while poor old Anal is over speaking to the Chinese. Wouldn't you reckon he would get on a plane and go and speak to Trump and see if he can hammer out a deal? He is fantastic, Trump. He is and the more they riot, the more he is successful. He has put that country back on the map. And if we could get him in Victoria, what about the slobbering suck up of the Allen government? I saw the premier speaking to some Muslim, trying to show a Muslim who'd been given a housing grant. I mean, honestly, could you project yourself more with nonsensical issues? Could you get? We are the most. You talk about Johannesburg. We were talking off air about Johannesburg. Melbourne is about the crime capital of the world at the minute. It is absolutely unbelievable. There's more antisocial people walking around, and the government are doing absolutely nothing. They're
I
worrying
think,
about the premier
Sam,
speaking
I
to a
think
Muslim person who's been given a housing grant.
we,
That
we,
makes the news.
we have a bit of fun. Talk about. I just, you know what, we too often, and a mate of ours, and he's had stuff going on, and Ricky Nixon, who a lot of people don't know, and I only found out the other day, Sam. Ricky Nixon goes and feeds the homeless every second Wednesday. Did you know that?
Yes, I've
And
been to one of his feeding.
he went and got sponsorship from the Port Melbourne Bakery on Bay Street, and
I
I think
know.
I think he went to Coles, Hunky Dory on Bay Street. These are off the top of my head because I remember I had a chat to him and I said, "How do you do this?" And he told me. So those people, I think it's Coles, the Port Melbourne Bakery, Hunky Dories, also Bunnings gave him some tables and chairs so he could set them up, and he goes and does that. And you know what and he did, by the way, he certainly doesn't know I'm bringing this up, and he didn't want me to bring it up, but it just came to me when you talked about crime, because the homelessness in Melbourne, it is sad. It is it's growing day by day. Clarendon Street, Fitzroy Street. You've got not Toorak Road, Chapel Street. I mean, it is just even down Bay Street as well in Port Melbourne now. It is everywhere, It is very sad to see. There's so many people are on our streets, and it's sad. Now they're not the ones that you're talking about that are committing the crimes, but I tell you what, it's tough times out there. So well
Yes,
done, Chicken. Well done, Ricky Nixon, for doing
yes,
that.
well done,
And
Ricky.
I'm going to take and see that little boy that came here before and was giving me a cuddle, and I sent him up to his mum's room. I'm gonna take him down with Chicken, and we're going to do and we're going to I'm going to help him feed the homeless because I want my 6-year-old to understand and appreciate things and understand what some people are going through and have some empathy around that. So, well done, Chook.
Speaking of feeding people, I saw, you can't believe the money they waste on surveys. They were talking about, they did a survey on kids' health at schools and what wasn't appealing, and they had a whole raft of things. Why would you have to do a survey about this? It was about chocolate bars, all day suckers. It was about sugar drinks, and why would you have to do a survey about that, Duck?
Sun's coming through on you, Patrick.
It
Patrick
is.
Swayze.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. You just look. You look like you're going to heaven. That's
Yes,
better.
well, yeah. Why
That's
would you
better.
have to do a survey on
Yeah.
that
No.
money?
You. Yeah. It's look. It's. I tell you what. One of the hardest things that I find as a parent. And I watched. There's been a parenting show on Channel 9, by the way. I've been watching that, trying to pick up a few tips. Um, one of the hardest things to do as a parent, and I'm not joking, and they had this on the show the other night, and that is getting your kids to eat properly and
That's right.
eat at the right times. It is, you know what? That's the hardest thing. All that you want them to do is eat something. The hardest thing is they're at a certain age. Some kids are great, and they're just fussy. They won't eat. They'll eat all that rubbish. Yeah, so
Why would you have to do a
I'm on
survey on
board.
that?
No, you wouldn't have to do a survey. It's not a
It's
puzzle.
like the coppers
You
coming
know
out and
whether it's
saying when it's raining, don't drive so quickly. What?
yeah,
Who are we speaking to in
yeah.
this
No,
on this planet?
no. I wouldn't think that required a survey. It's not a puzzle.
Well, Duck, what is not a puzzle is that you've been fantastic today. You've reinforced the fact that you don't think anyone that doesn't actually run the 100 meters in under 10 seconds is not an athlete.
I
You've
did not say that. I didn't say that.
eh?
You know what, Sam? I'd like to finish on this because we and in the podcast we obviously spoke about people's disturbing behaviour and people portraying their own insecurities onto other people and doing things. You know what? Just for all those that listen to this podcast, be kind, don't judge. The world is a changing place, and it's you know what, and it's becoming more and more difficult to be in it. To be honest, and you know
Gee,
what, we've covered it. We've covered a lot of ground today, Sam, and I just hope that the people that I was talking about in our first podcast grow a conscience and come out and do something about it.
the Reverend Duck. It is
Thank you.
extraordinary, Duck.
Thank you.
I just take issue with one thing. I think you should. You said don't judge. If you don't judge people, you end up getting swamped by dickheads. I mean, seriously.
What I mean, Sam, when we look from afar, when we don't know someone and we judge them, that's and by the way, I'm not judging these two particular women. I'm judging their actions, and I'm frowning upon their pathetic, disgusting, vile, disturbing actions. But I'm not
I
judging them
think
as
that's
people.
judging them.
They've made a huge error here, and the consequences will come their way. You know what? But they might have been having a bad day. They might have had too many Chardonnays. If they have, come out, tell us what's going on, and you know what? And the world moves on. So watch this space. Next week, I'm sure we'll
Yeah.
have plenty to report.
Well, I'm judging them. They're cocksmacks.
Thank you.
Now, Doug.
You can't. By the way, you can't get any weeks for saying cocksmacks. I reckon.
Oh no, we've gone through all the things. Soon you'll get a week for actually speaking. I reckon there'll be a silence policy shortly. Now you get Tess on next week, and we'll look forward to it.
Yeah, Tess, I'm going to get Tess on to talk about. Well, I might get her to talk about the session I have after this. How's that? and how she helped me through the week.
She might psychoanalyze. In fact, it might be the worst thing I've ever done is ask Tess to come on. Duck, well, all the best, mate.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam. Hey, and have fun. And have fun. I'm led to believe you and Sue are heading down. What did you say then? What did you go?
We're going to the Cobalt Gorge. We're going
Yes.
to get on a boat.
You're going
Crocodiles.
on a boat through the gorge.
Crocodile called the Johnson crocodile. And they said they're not harmful to humans. Oh, yeah, right. Well, I want to see someone jump in and have a swim with one of them.
Hang on. So what are you saying? They're calling it, so it's a Johnson crocodile. What's that?
Well, they're called Johnson crocodiles. They're freshwater crocodiles.
What, you've got no teeth?
Eh?
So what's it, a crocodile with no teeth?
Well, they said they're not harmful to humans. Is that how?
That's
that
not
an oxymoron.
That's not it can't be a proper crocodile. Then it's probably a fish with legs with just a gob on it or something. I don't know. It can't be. By the way, are there going to be any? Is it rapids or is it just current gorge or what is it?
Sue says she's been there. I with the variety bash 20 years ago. I don't know what it is.
Well, get some vision. I'd love to see it.
Well, we will get some vision, Duck. You can watch our vision on on the YouTube channel, Original Smarter Sam. You can watch all our adventures.
All right, beautiful. Well, I look forward to watching it. Stay in touch.
Sit down with Carter and Cole and your missus and just watch people having fun. Oh, yes.
Carter's yelling at me now, so hooroo.
Right, that's it. Well done, Duck. Hooray.